Hello, everyone. This was a good week of chapters, despite there being no One Piece this week. Overall, I think a lot of the chapters showed off a lot of different overpowered moments and strong character work from just about every series. So we're going to start off this week with Black Clover, chapter 324. And this was a good chapter, showing off more of Yami and Noct working together, as well as Asta and Yuno's revival, and Lucifero being the strongest thing in the entire Black Clover world. Now, at this point, I feel that the characters are written into a corner, having it that Lucifero is now fed up and acknowledges Yami and Noct, and has decided to kill everyone so that nothing can get in his way again. The good guys are going to have to win, and because of that now, the wrong decision has pretty much been made. Now, the next big decision is how good or bad is that bad decision? If it's written well enough that they win through whatever means that's not the worst thing on the planet, it could be saved. If it's not good, it's not good. But for now, I'm curious to see what method they'll win at this point, because now I'm convinced they're probably going to win, which is a shame, because I think Lucifero getting this huge win would have been a very big change of pace for a lot of both this story and other stories. But it looks like we're going to get this win here because of probably Yami and Asta, the usual trio that win every fight in the entire series thus far. So I'm curious at how this will go and how the story continues afterward. So overall, I think I'm going to give this chapter a B. It was good having Yami and Noct fighting side by side and even hurting Lucifero, and Lucifero acknowledging that they're strong enough to wound him, and now he's decreed that all of the living things on the planet are to be destroyed by him. Even the other Supreme Devil looked surprised by this, so I wonder how much he'll get involved, if at all. And to see that Asta and Yuno have been more or less revived enough to help out in the fight shows at least we'll get a fairly interesting final battle. Now we're on to Undead Unluck, chapter 99, and this was a good chapter showing the efforts of both the Union and Under in their fight against the planet plummeting towards the sun. They're gathering up every Uma available to try to stall out the effects of getting closer to the sun, trying to cool the weather, trying to do everything in their power to keep as many people alive for as long as possible as they gear up and get ready to fight God. That was fairly interesting to see, as each one is doing their own thing with their final days. As for Andy, he's off looking and searching for Fuko, and seemingly runs into a girl who's running from some monster Uma, and Andy saves her. So whatever little side story is going to happen is fairly interesting, and it seems as though Andy has accepted who he is. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good seeing Andy be able to show off that he is very much more powerful than he was at the beginning of the series, as well as him accepting who he is as Andy instead of undead. It was interesting to see that the Under and Union are still more or less working together as they gear up to verse God, as well as seeing the efforts made to try to stop the coming apocalypse, while they keep searching for Umas such as snow and many other things to try to revert what they can, all just as a delaying tactic. So it'll be very interesting to see what scenario is laid out here, as also Unruin continues to murder a ton of people just to serve the ghost Uma, it would seem. But for now, it seems as though we're heading down the final path towards the end of the series, unless it pivots. Now we're on to Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 97, and this was a good chapter showing just how overpowered Mash is, and even how powerful Demina is for having withstood his initial punch, only to receive an infinite amount more. From Demina being able to use thirds again to summon even more water and attack Mash, only to see that Mash can now just keeps doubling his punches from 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8, and just keeps doubling and doubling and doubling his punches all the way up to a ridiculous amount. 65,536 punches Demina now takes, which should 100% take him out. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good. It was very funny seeing Mash decide to multiply his punches exponentially until it reaches an absolutely ridiculous level of punches. And I have a feeling he'll hit every one of those punches. Demina will probably get up again, thinking he outlasted Mash, only to get an even more amount of punches until he's finally beaten. Also, Demina seemingly cheated and grabbed the wand of the beginning in the middle of the fight, thinking he had won and had the upper hand, only to be hit 6,000 times. Or 65,000 times. Mash is very funny. I'm curious to see what the next arc is going to be, because Demina seemingly was the strongest of the siblings, but I also wouldn't be surprised if now there's a stronger one and a stronger one than that, and it keeps getting more and more ridiculous up until Mash just takes on Innocent Zero and wins in one punch. Now we're on to Sakamoto Days, chapter 59. This was a good chapter, continuing the events of the opening exam, having it that Sakamoto's teaching our new companion character. They gave the names, but I don't remember them. And Shin growing stronger, telling Sakamoto that he doesn't want any help on this exam and that he wants to prove that he is much stronger, even helping the younger kid kind of gain his confidence back, giving him a bullet because they only need one to pass, and Shin and the kid end up bonding because they seemingly want to get into the order as well. Shin, I don't know if he wants to, but knows how powerful the order is and wants to help the kid at least to a degree, and the kid continues to be ridiculous. We then see the final piece of the puzzle here is that there is an order member on the plane, and he is one of the administrators, and he is extremely powerful, destroying basically everyone in his wake, leaving it that our basically 4 protagonists of this arc are going to have their hands completely full in surviving him, let alone beating him. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good seeing Shin's power growth and connection with his quote-unquote rival in this arc, as well as Sakamoto teaching the potential companion character how to shoot and continue to seemingly protect her to a degree and watch her, as well as his disguised name of Taro, which I thought was funny. And the arrival of an order member as one of the administrators is a wrinkle I didn't see coming. Now I'm curious to see if Sakamoto has to really try to survive or even win, or if he just sort of hangs back and doesn't really do anything. So that was all the major chapters. They were all very good, with each one showing off a particularly powerful character, from Black Clover showing Lucifero being unstoppable, Undead showing that Andy is very much stronger than he was before, defeating even Umas with ease, Mash being Mash and destroying everything, and Sakamoto Days showing the Order member just obliterating everyone for his art. And now for everything else, we had My Hero, which was fine. Jujutsu Kaisen was good, showing off a pretty fun battle and a unique way to win with some more very interesting concepts, but that's all they kind of are. Dr. Stone had a very unique wrinkle, which I thought was very fun, with the Y-Man parasite, and what it could potentially be leading to is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what decisions are made and what path this story goes down. Yazakura family was pretty good, showing the eldest brother taking on the father and winning, but only to be discovered by the other group of major villains, showing that he is at quite the disadvantage, but believes he could still win, so I look forward to seeing how that fight ends up going. Then we had the elusive samurai, and this was a good chapter, ending what could have been an annoying part of this arc fairly quickly, with a very unique twist, so I very much enjoyed what happened in this chapter, with how one of the main characters outfoxed the gambler in this scenario. Then we had Blue Box, which was fine, more romance stuff, despite having the sports stuff happen in the background. P times 6, and it was a good chapter. It was surprising the turn it took, and I'm curious to see how all the characters continue to grow. I wonder what Lucky's gonna do in the next chapter. It could be something ridiculous, or it could be something fun, I don't know. But it'll be very interesting to see nonetheless. And then Doron was good. It continues its normal pattern despite having some more unique characters in it. It continues to follow down the same path we've seen many a time before it. So outside of its characters, its plot is fairly predictable. So I wonder what it's going to do to differentiate itself if it gets the opportunity to do so. So that was all of the chapters. They were all very good this week. There were a couple more on break than I thought, but overall there was still a fair amount of chapters and they were all very good. Next week I believe One Piece is back, but Black Clover is not. So we'll see. I'm assuming it'll be very good. With that, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching.